I just wanted to start talking with you, Fiona, about like where you started, and that you were born in Auckland, is that right? And what got you? What was your childhood like, and what got you going?
Gosh, that's a
in 5 sentences.
Yes. Can everybody hear me? All right. Well, I guess I was born in 1981 at National Women's Hospital, and then I went to Epsom. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I grew up in Auckland until I was 6, and then my dad, who was involved in the construction industry, we relocated to Seattle. So we lived there for 7 years, and then came back to New Zealand when I was 13, and then just lived here. Yeah, so I guess is that the kind of answer you were looking for?
Oh, well, no, I was just interested. So that mobility that you have now has always been part of your life, moving around. And your father was in the construction business. What, did you sort of grow up going on construction sites as a kid? Is that the...
Yeah, I think like Dad's, always kind of read a city in a particular way. So when we kind of moved around a lot, travelled a lot, and so he'd sort of I guess study a city or read a city as and be really hyper aware of I guess the structures and the history of the structures, and be aware of the intentions behind those.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Is your father here?
Yeah, he's in the corner over there.
Oh, okay, right. Just wondering if he's a frustrated architect, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you would talk about this together?
I remember. I don't know. A really impressionable memory was when we were in Italy and we were at the Pantheon, and definitely stands out as one of my a really intense experience with a building or a piece of art, and sort of sitting outside him reading through the history and Yeah.
It's extraordinary, isn't it, to come in from sort of this rich fabric of Rome and then walk into that ginormous space with the great oculi in it, and there's no real apparent function to our point of view, is there? It's sort of giant art in itself.
Yeah, exactly, and just the way it framed,
the sky.
Yeah. So I think that's, that kind of potential for space or something.
Sure. And so what led you into art? Were you making things as a teenager or doing things?
I think just like any crafty person, I think, it's sort of kind of, there wasn't a single moment, I think just going through living in Seattle was always surrounded by craft, and went through really crafty schools, and so there was we were always in, just constantly making things,
and so you slowly realise you can just keep doing this.
Yeah, I think it just
no one says stop, get a job now.
Exactly. I think I think that I left art school out of ELIM at a time that the government was being really supportive of young artists and really healthy young artist community.
Yes.
So I think that there was that kind of option to just make full time as opposed to getting a full time job, and I think building up your practice at a young age is a great way of establishing a vocabulary of strategies, or learning through making and learning through putting on shows.
That's establishing that vocabulary. When you went to ELIM, did you do sculpture from the start, or did you do painting? Or you're very good at drawing and painting too.
I guess I went through ELIM and went into the painting department, but I think that was just I was really interested in painting as this really intense, intimate experience that you have with an object, and it felt the department was really process based, which I liked, I kind of came through it, and then all of a sudden it felt better to rather than represent space in 2D to just have things in real space. Yeah.
So it's sort of gone from, as you were telling me, 2D to, when you do drawings, you're taking a 3D object and representing it in a 2D space. And I like the way you said that you didn't shift it from 3D and into 3D.
Yeah.
But do you work with drawings along the way to do that, or
Yeah,
maquettes, or how do you transformation process?
It really depends, but I generally like generate drawings and work with floor plans, and it's just, I guess, like spending time in a space is probably like really important, and then having time to reflect on that and like think about what I really want to do or what I think would be. But yeah, I think drawing's like a great way to like think through doing.
Yes.
And kind of just be like play with the space in a very light way.
Right.
And just, you know, I'm sure you find the same as an architect. It's like a great way to like push around ideas.
Yes.
And kind of like...
Yes, just to keep something flowing through, isn't it?
Yeah.
And have a record, and often you can come back to it and go,
exactly. And it like,
So how did you get the idea for something transparent up on K Road? How did that... Is everyone aware of that work? I'm assuming most... Do you have a photo of that?
I don't think we have a photo of it. There's like photos in the...
Yeah, okay.
I think they're
it's
kind of around...
It's basically the front door of the building on this busy corner that's been replicated. How many times?
It was every metre, so it was about 14 times.
14?
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought there was a mirror in there somewhere, but it was really the thing.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So where did that idea come from?
Actually, well, it was just I got asked by Michael to have an exhibition, and the idea didn't really come, it didn't really come immediately, actually. I was kind of quite hesitant, but then that's exactly what when the idea did come, I knew that's what I really wanted to do, and just this way of occupying the space. But I actually, I thought about dissecting a space with glass when I was thinking about how to deal with the engine room, which is a space down in Wellington, but I didn't know it was one of those ideas that you have, but it kind of gets put aside because it didn't really need it.
Right.
Yeah. So it was actually I'd kind of been thinking through this idea of filling a room with microscopic slides or something.
Yes.
And that it kind of came out of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of dissecting a room with transparent screens.
Okay.
And describing the space like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, because the thing about that work up there and the work upstairs is that the disturbing spatial misconnect for me as an architect, which is probably strong, but I'm sure everyone feels that.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's it's not quite what you expect. It's known.
Yeah,
it's not quite what you expect to see, and it's sort of done. It's replicate. It's and so you start looking at the different architectural meaning of what is it, is an entry door or the trusses or what they are. And I sort of noticed, just reading through, you did a work in Barcelona where you lined the walls with local daily newspapers and the commentator was saying, referring to your work as psychogeography. Do you feel like that about it?
I think, I think that there's always, I think there's always an element of social material in the work, I think that's a nice. I would like to think that I try to do that. I don't know. I guess it's up to but yeah.
Because it also, especially upstairs, you start to see the construction of how things are too, don't you? And then you start thinking, who made these pieces?
Exactly, and they become, I don't know, I think reintroducing history to functional objects is it can be a really a nice way of engaging with things.